Hello everyone and welcome to the first game we'll be covering from the Speed Chess Championship. It is game 3 of the Blitz section, Jan-Krzysztof Duda versus Arjun Erigaisi, and it's, it comes as a suggestion from a subscriber. The subscriber said that the engine bar was acting as if two 300 ELO players were playing this game, and while I'm sure no disrespect was being meant there, it is one of the dangers of enjoying modern chess while having access to an engine. You constantly have this feeling that the players are playing bad moves, where if you had no idea about the evaluation, where if you were just watching the game, you'd be like, wow, this is one incredible game. So at extreme time pressure, when facing a strong opponent, these moves are impossible to calculate. I will only cover a few of them, and this game can have like maybe even 5-10 pause the video moments because it's so complicated. I'm gonna maybe use 3 or 4, and I'm really going to show you one variation that did not happen but is so complicated. And enjoying chess with an engine, it's like solving maybe a mathematical problem from the Math Olympiad using a calculator operated by a sophisticated AI system. Like I've seen Google DeepMind posted yesterday on Twitter that they were able to use AI to solve mathematical problems from the Olympiad at a silver medalist level. So it's like that. When if you did not have access to that, you'd be like, I have no idea what this is. Same as in this game, now that I will show you. And like I said, it's a blitz game, so I might show a line or two too many. That's why after the game there will be just a short overview of the game. So if you're just interested in that, also will be in the timestamps below. So whatever you prefer. So let's check it out. Duda with white opens with pawn to e4. Pawn to e4, we have pawn to c5, Arjun goes for the Sicilian defense, knight to f3, knight to c6, and now not my favorite pawn to b4, but rather bishop to b5, the so-called Nimzovich-Rossolimo attack, d6, and now castles kingside. We have bishop to d7 and rook to e1. We have knight to f6, putting pressure on the e4 pawn, pawn to c3, preparing pawn to d4, and a6, challenging the bishop here. Bishop back to f1, it is the top move in the position. The position has been reached quite a few times. We have bishop to g4, now pinning the knight, h3, and bishop captures on h3. If bishop h5, then g4, and this is considered very good for white, as it has been played before. Captures, pawn to e6, and now pawn to d3. Not striking with d4, as d4 is sufficiently covered. We have bishop to e7, and now top moves here are knight to d2 and bishop to e3. But Duda goes for queen to g3 and rook to g8. You could even castle here. It's not as if bishop to h6 is any huge threat here. You can just move the knight to h5 or e8, and it can be played. But I imagine Arjun wasn't familiar with this. He played rook to g8, or maybe he is familiar with it. I mean, they're still on 5 minutes. They're not wasting any time here. And Duda's next move comes as a bit of a surprise. He plays pawn to f4, sort of to prevent pawn to g5, but f4, if anything, even invites g5, because now you have a target to open up the g file, and that's exactly what Arjun does. He plays pawn to g5, and now you cannot keep the g file closed. Let's say you play pawn to f5, g4, and let's say you play pawn to h4, knight h5, and you can already resign here. The queen has to move, the g pawn is covered, bishop captures on h4 is happening next. So this is resigns territory. So after pawn to g5, we have f captures on g5, and now pawn to h6. So okay, queen to h4, going after the pawn here, but now knight to h7. Look at this beauty. As they say in chess, pinning is winning. Queen captures on h6, and now knight captures on g5. We have queen back to h5, and now knight to e5, bringing more pieces into the attack. And it looks like a lot has happened, but essentially Arjun just sacrificed a pawn for the attack on the white king. King to h1, on getting the king off of the g file, as it could be very dangerous. But playing king to h1 actually blunders the game. But it's one of those moves that I've mentioned before starting the actual game. It is impossible to calculate in a blitz game. But you guys, you have all the time in the world. Feel free to pause the video and try to find what Duda missed by playing king to h1 while I give you a couple of seconds. So for those of you who were able to do it, congratulations on finding this beauty. And for those of you who just want to enjoy the show, it is knight captures on h3. And this is not something you just spot in a in a blitz game, regardless of you being rated over 3000. Point is that the knight can be captured with the queen and with the pawn. So let's go with a common sense move. G captures on h3 because we really like to keep the h file closed. This is the move that bothers us. Bishop to h4 attacks the rook here, and after the rook moves, now comes queen to f6. And you might be thinking, okay, what's the problem with queen to f6? Well, the problem is that once the queen moves, look at this, bishop to f2, threatening rook to g1, and now bishop to g2, but now queen to h4, threatening rook captures on g2, king captures queen to g3, followed by queen captures on h3, checkmate. So queen to f1 defending, and now knight g4, and you're not, coming out alive from this. For example, knight d2, queen to g3. If knight to f3, stopping queen h2 checkmate, you can just even castle queenside. You can bring another rook into the attack. There's really nothing white can do here. So that's the problem with the g captures. And the problem with queen captures is actually similar. Bishop to h4, again, ruins our plans. And you either go up the board, but if you go up the board, then the bishop will be undefended. Queen to f6 will come with tempo, and if you play rook to d1, again, just rook to g3, and the queen is trapped. There's nothing you can do here. You're going to lose the queen, and that's it. So king to h1 blunders the game, but with little time on the clock, good luck seeing this. Queen to b6 is played, and now just knight to a3. And the problem is Arjun no longer has this move, because now you don't have the queen on d8 for that bishop to h4 move, which was crucial in all the lines. So queenside castles by Arjun, and now queen back to d1. We have king to b8 and pawn to d4. Now it's a race. Of course, Arjun will attack the king side, and Duda will attack the queen side. C captures on d4. C captures. We have knight to c6 and bishop to e3. Nicely aligning the bishop with the queen, inviting queen captures on b2, but opening up the b file for the white rook doesn't look like something you want to do here. So pawn to d5, keeping this diagonal closed, and e captures on d5. E captures, and queen to b3, offering a queen trade. We have queen back to c7 and rook a to c1. Knight to e4, getting the knight into the attack, and now comes bishop captures on a6, which is the best move in the position. But now we reach the territory of no understanding. Sorry about this. I will solve it immediately. Sorry about that. It was really a wild position. There we go. All right, and there's really only one good move here, rook to g6, but it was not played in the game. In the game, bishop to b4 was played, now sort of making this a threat, and also making this a threat, but it doesn't work. However, calculating this one again, good luck with it. So have at it. While I give you a couple of seconds. What do you play here with white? White is completely winning. Rook captures on c6, and I know this is the first move you guys thought of. You were looking at it for a very long time, but it is what happens next. Rook captures on c6, queen captures on c6, queen captures on b4, queen captures on a6, bishop to f4 with check. If you go to the c file, then of course rook coming to c1 is nasty. So king to a8, and now knight to b5, threatening knight to c7 check to win the black queen. And once rook to c8 comes, again you might be thinking, okay, what do we play next? Is there really something here? Well, it appears rook to e2 is the only move, and that white is completely winning here. It stops all of the tricks, all of the nasty stuff, and well, you're just gonna have to face knight to c7 check, and you're gonna have to give back the exchange. The queen will have to move. If you don't want to lose the queen, knight c7 check, you have to give back the exchange, and white is now completely winning because, let's say, queen a6, the queen has to remain on the a file at all time. The b8 square is covered. If the rook goes to the a file, or somehow rook e3, rook to a3, this is game over. So that's why it was much stronger to play rook captures on c6, but again, good luck finding all of that. Bishop captures on b7 was played, and now it is black who's winning. But again, not so easy to see why. Have at it. The move, of course, is rook captures on g2, as the rook cannot be captured. If the rook is captured, then queen to g3 with check, and you just get checkmated. Queen h3 check, king g1, rook to g8 with check, and there are no more moves with the king. You have to start giving up pieces. You give up the bishop, you give up the queen, and it's checkmate. But to make matters worse, it's not only that you cannot capture the rook. How do you stop queen to h2 checkmate? There's only one way to do it, bishop to g1, but you're still lost if you find the correct idea, and the correct idea is rook g3, attacking the queen and the pawn on h3. But it was not found in the game. Arjun just doubled up on the g file, and it looks like it should still be winning. You have so much pressure. You can play rook g3 at any point. You can play knight g3 check. You can even capture the bishop, maybe. I mean, so many possibilities here. But now there is a tricky move that the Duda can play here, and he plays it. I'm not gonna force you to pause the video one more time because, well, there's more. Rook captures on e4 is what he played. And there are, of course, possibilities here. If d captures on e4, then bishop captures on c6, and white is just winning. There's no good follow-up for black here. Also, the b file opened up. You're just gonna get destroyed here. And on the other hand, you could play something like rook 8 to g3, which was played in the game, but now it doesn't work for a very specific reason, and that is bishop captures on c6. You give up the queen, but you no longer care about the queen. Rook captures on b3, rook to e8 with check, king to a7, rook to a8 with check, sorry, not rook to a8 with check, first knight to b5 check, forking the king and the queen, so the knight on a3 actually made a lot of sense. King to king to b6, and now, of course, knight captures on c7, just capturing the queen. And now the problem is, if you play king captures, then just bishop captures on d5 opens up a discovery while connecting with the rook on g2. So when the king moves, you're just going to capture, and you will be up a full rook and a full bishop. So after knight captures on c7, rook g captures on b2 was played, but it doesn't matter. Now you just run into a mate in 2, and I'm sure you guys see it without even pausing the video. Knight captures on d5 with check. Look at this. The bishop and knight doing such a good job working together, covering these 3 squares. This is covered by the knight, this is covered by the rook. The king is forced to the a file, and then as the bishop covers a8, the rook is coming to a8, and that will be checkmate. King a6, king a7, or king to a5 will result in rook to a8 checkmate. So that's the game, and it sure doesn't look like something that was played by a couple of 300 rated players, but I agree with my subscriber. If you only look at the engine bar, which goes up and down, up and down, up and down, then yes, you'd be thinking, okay, 300 rated players are playing this, but no, it's actually 3,000 rated players. So now a quick overview of the game. As I've promised, it was a nice Sicilian defense, the Nimzovich-Rossolimo transposing into the canal attack. Nothing spectacular here. This has all been played before. Queen g3, bit of a fancy maneuvering. f4, inviting pawn to g5, which was very nice, but Arjun sacrificing the pawn for the attack here. So he did give up one pawn, and then king h1 blundered the game, but you have to watch the entire analysis to realize why it was missed by Arjun. He played queen to b6, knight a3, queenside castles, queen d1, and king to b8. We have pawn to d4, captures, captures, and knight to c6. We have bishop b3, d5 closing the diagonal, captures, captures, and now queen b3, offering a queen trade. Of course, Arjun declines. Rook to c1 and knight e4. We have bishop captures on a6, and now bishop to b4. Rook to g6 here was the only way for black to continue, but after bishop to b4, there is a super tricky line, but you have to watch the entire video to figure out what it was. Bishop captures on b7 was played, and now rook captures on g2. If you take the rook, then you're going to get checkmated. So bishop to g1, only way to defend the h2 square from queen h2 checkmate. Now comes rook d to g8, blundering the entire theme of the position, and now rook captures on e4. Duda finds the saving straw. Rook 8 to g3, attacking the queen, but Duda no longer needs a queen. He plays bishop captures on c6. Arjun captures the queen, but now it's time to checkmate the black king. Rook checks, king a7, knight to b5 check with the royal fork, king b6, knight captures on c7, and rook g captures on b2. Nothing more to be done here. Knight captures on d5, and he was in this position on move 34 that Arjun Erigaisi resigned the game, as there is nothing more to be done here. Once he moves to either of these three squares, it's gonna be checkmate with rook to a8. So yeah, beautifully played by both of them. It was definitely a game to show. I've made it like 4, paused the video moments. Like I said, I could have made it easily, could have made it 10, but sure, I mean, this is a 15-minute video for a blitz game. Let's not over push it. So yeah, that's the game. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I would like to thank Walid Abdullah, Meadow the Chess Dog, Vicky Hackney, Meadow the Super Chess Dog, and Darren Little for your contribution to my channel. Thank you a lot. I really appreciate it. As usual, you can check 2 of my previous videos here. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you soon, continuing to check up on your wonderful suggestions and whatever else happens in the chess world. So thank you all. I will see you soon, and have an excellent rest of your day. And I forgot to show you the results. Okay, only 2 pairings have been done. Arjun defeated Jan-Krzysztof Duda, even though Duda won this very nice game. It was Arjun who won the match, and Hikaru defeated Jose Martinez, who was triumphant against Vladimir Kramnik not so long ago, but Hikaru goes into the quarterfinals. We'll see what happens in the other matches, and we'll cover those accordingly. Thank you all. I will see you soon. Have an excellent rest of your day.